I ran into a guy not long ago, and he hires a lot of people. And I just asked him randomly, what question do you ask somebody when you're deciding whether to hire them or not? And this guy said, I asked them this question: name a time where you told the truth and it hurt you. And that's a good question because it's really asking, are your loves in the right order? Do you put love of truth over love of career? And a lot of my students, a lot of my co-professors have done that. And have sacrificed sometimes fellowships, sometimes lives of ease. I met a young woman who was homeless in Phoenix. She was going to enlist in the Navy just because she needed money to pay for her 4 brothers, who she was looking after. Her parents had split back to the Philippines. And God bless the enlistment officer, said, you should not enlist in the Navy, you should go to Annapolis, go to the academy. Your grades are good enough. She went to the academy and graduated #1 academically in her class, and she's now a Rhodes Scholar in Oxford. Amazing story. But she spent all this time, whatever spare time you have at the Naval Academy, which believe me is not much, finding foster homes and adopted parents for her brothers. And you just see somebody living a life of that. That's sort of amazing even in this culture. And I think we all could look around. If you name the 5 people you admire most, I think we could all do that and find people who are balanced. I always keep a list of 5 people I admire most in Washington, just so I don't feel totally hopeless. And they're usually people like Anthony Weiner, Eliot Spitzer. No, I'm kidding. But 2 leap out. Some of you may know. One is no longer in Washington, but it's George Shultz, who was Secretary of State, Secretary of Treasury, a remarkable man who did all these jobs. It was never about himself. And then another one who's always on my list is Jim Lehrer, who I used to work with at the NewsHour, who he did a TV show, but the show was not about himself. It was about the stories. And you couldn't see it, but when I was talking to him on air and the camera was not on him, his face was very expressive. And if I was saying something unworthy of the show, I could see his mouth droop. And if I was saying something he liked, he thought was worthy of the show, I could see his eyes crinkle in a smile. And so for 10 years, I was guided and taught by the mouth and the crinkling eye. And those instant reactions were my teaching. And somebody who has those right instincts, proper instincts, can be a great influence and teacher.